nature of our own existence. So now this tells us, wait a minute, slow down your diet. Stop eating all of the garbage so that you can become lighter. Stop worrying about all the madness that's going on in the European world. Because why? Then you become lighter. That means all of our energy was being sucked and drained by the white man. Realistically. He gave us a whole bunch of problems and dilemmas that were not our own. That we have accepted and ran off of for years. 400 years to be exact. We have ran off of situations that he have given us. We have fought his wars. We have worried about his economic system, his economic reality. We have worried about his condition, not even worrying about our own condition. So enlightenment means that we begin to realize who self is. This is what self-realization is. Self-realization is just not some spiritual journey that does not fit into the totality of your life. Self-realization is when you begin to differentiate yourself from everything that has distracted you from yourself. Right. That's a particular occurrence. You don't just go into a self and find completely nothing. You find something that was there, that was covered in the filth, that was covered in the mess, that was covered in disillusionment, that was covered with the murky ethers of the disvibration of white supremacy. We're now going beneath that to a deeper level. And we're realizing ourselves to be something other than that. We're realizing ourselves to be other than panic attacks. We're realizing ourselves to be something other than hatred of one another. We're realizing ourselves to be something of envy of each other. We're realizing ourselves to be something besides worryholics. Worried about this, worried about that, constantly worried, not able to find a center to get back to the center of who we are. Many of us say we're African-centered, but we're not centered in being an African. We ain't got to a center of an African. You know what I'm saying? But we Afrocentric. We have not got to the center of our African self. We have got to the center of somebody else's philosophy, right, somebody else's dogmatism, somebody's historical dissertation. But we have not got to the power center of our African selves. We must get back into that power center. But in order to do that, we got to cut ourselves off from that which has been limiting us, from that which has been distracting us. And that's what the enlightenment process is about. And once we come out of that, we discover a power within self that we did not know we had. See, we was fighting an enemy that was a bigger enemy because we didn't know who we were. We didn't know how much firepower we had. So we were afraid of him. What we going to do with this European when he do this? And they got bombs and they got this and they got that. That's because we were at a certain level of consciousness, of not realizing who we were. But when we get deeper into the power source of self, where we find unimaginable and unlimited power, then we stop having those worries and concerns. That's like a child that wants to know one day how is he going to run a marathon, but he's crawling on his feet. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's crawling right now, but he want to know, how am I going to run a marathon? It doesn't even seem possible. They have these long legs and they're running, but one day I want to run. But if that child could look inside of himself, he would begin to recognize that there's a walking man in there. Y'all don't know what I'm saying. Right. There's a walking man inside of that child waiting to come out. So I'm saying in each and every one of us, there's a pharaoh that is waiting to come out. There's a mighty ruler that is waiting to come out. There's a supernatural black being. Phenomenal, supernatural, amazing, magnificent, magnanimous being inside of us that wants to come out. We have not seen that because we've accepted the imagery of what they have wanted us to be. We felt like all we could be was a basketball player or a rapper. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell us we could be gods. So we do not know our true capabilities. But our inability to solve our problem is not based on inability, but it's based upon a lack of knowledge of our capability. Because if we knew our capability, the problems that we see would not even be looked at as real problems. They're looked at as problems because we know not our capability. Because we have become attached to a limited perception of ourselves. Enlightenment challenges us to go to a bigger, more powerful, more magnificent perception of self. And not just